Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast. I'm your host, Imperial Dane. It's time for another Monday novice fight. Yes, indeed, it's time for that time of the week where some of you weaker stomach players will have to hold you for your eyes and ears, as things will get a bit novice-y. It's going to be a 1 versus 1 on Langres. God damn it! Langres is what we had yesterday. It's Angerville. Yes indeed, it's the fields of Angerville. Two forces shall be clashing in the daylight. It shall be Siaga JPS of the American my goodness, 1st Infantry Division going up against Swemo Wang. Or Swemo Wang or something Wang. I'm not entirely sure how he wants that pronounced. Nonetheless, though, fighting for the 77th Infanterie Division, holding the road to Cherbourg. Fortress Cherbourg, even. And in fact, let's get right down to it. Of course, both players are about rank 9. And of course, for those wondering of all those new subscribers I've gotten, what is the Monday Novice Fight? That's basically where we take a look at some less than spectacularly grand and expert players and sort of see what they do. Possibly sort of think about why they do it, what they do right, what they do wrong, and sort of what possibly could also be leading to those wrong thoughts, if possible. Well, we are seeing a Wehrmacht quarter start up, and he's, of course, not completely. I mean, they're both rank 9, so they're sort of on the cusp to greatness, but not quite there, or at least the cusp to sort of competence. But Wehrmacht quarters right at the edge of the base, that's good, but at the same time we also see it towards the right, which usually also tends to indicate where he's going to sort of lay his focus, but of course that means the troops will be getting faster there, so of course his focus will be the right hand. We also see that here because he's pretty early on wiring off this area, thus hoping to avoid that an opponent flanks about swiftly hard here and sort of tries to hit the area here. And we sort of see this area is not the one you usually see. I mean, some higher ranking players do go for it, in fact, because if they can wire it off, it can be a very strong position. Trouble is, of course, getting it done. That's where things get slightly tricky. Because we'll have to see how Swemo Wang pulls it off. I mean, there's even a strategy that specifically sort of deals with it, where you basically get a Wehrmacht quarters up, have some pioneers wire off this area, and then secure some of these points while the Volksgarden has moved up to this point, I believe. Otherwise, you sort of try it, and you don't wire off this area. You need it for mobility or something like that. I can't remember exactly the strategy's details, but it's certainly quite interesting. Either way, though, you do tend to rather focus most of your early efforts right here in this little compartment. Rather in this case, where Wang is focusing towards the west, which is currently going to serve him well because his opponent is focusing all towards the east as well. Siaga pushing hard, and he's actually wiring off this area, but note the little problem here. For those saying, wait a minute, they are wiring themselves in. You're correct. Siaga JPS's engineers are wiring themselves in under fire. So, of course, and now there's actually going to be no way out of there since the other escape path has been sort of wired off. Thus meaning they're trapped and executed by the Wehrmacht, the glorious forces of the 77th Infanterie Division, not a highly trained or something like that infantry division, sort of a regular one, not a Bodenständige or static defense infantry unit either, which were several of them sort of fighting in Normandy. Basically the ones holding most of the coastal positions were what you call Bodenständig, static, which basically meant they had pretty much absolutely no transport, not even carts or horses or anything. They were basically there to hold some strong positions, though themselves they were poorly trained, equipped with a mix of Russian, French and Czechoslovakian equipment, mostly artillery though in that sense. There's some artillery also, and I mean anti-tank guns and such. And laying down some sandbags before trying to take this point. Nice. I mean, we're good to seeing some pretty aggressive wiring and sandbagging, though at the same time we've sort of seen this sort of been secured in. Smaller engagement right here. Americans securing that. Of course, riflemen pretty good at that. And of course, behind sandbags, they're also going to be pretty untouchable. Jeep also for a bit of early harassment, or at least reconnaissance. Nice to see. They're going to need someone to cut this wire. Of course, if you want to be clever, perhaps cut the wire here and then flank them. Of course, again, that's why you don't actually wire this bit off. You actually tend to try and mine it. So if someone tries to sneak in, then they're going to get a miney surprise. But laying down sandbags himself. Good. But moving on, the Bodenständig again, poorly trained. In some cases, they didn't even have the full complement of German infantry they'd be equipped with. Would be given battalions of what was called Ostbataillonen, or Eastern Battalions, which basically were volunteers grabbed from prison camps from basically Soviet troops, was sort of given the idea that either, you know, they could, you know, just languish away and die in a horrible condition in a prison camp somewhere in Eastern Europe, or they could join up with the glorious Wehrmacht and fight for Germany. So they sort of figured they'd do that, which of course led to Russian soldiers fighting for Germany in France against Americans. And of course they were happy to surrender to the Americans, though, but that was partly because they didn't know that the Americans afterwards were going to hand them over to the Russians. In which case I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have been so eager to surrender because, well, Stalin wasn't quite keen on people surrendering. Seeing as it's sort of actually made surrendering a death penalty worthy law. Either way, though, we're seeing some pretty good aggression over here, although going straight for the cutoff point, going over here. So far the 77th leading with a vigorous counterattack going after the Jeep. Although so far the Jeep, no, never mind. Damaged engine. Jeep is not in a good condition. Volksgrenadiers moving in for the hunt. MG also moving up. Has to be careful though, flank is pretty open. If it gets flanked, of course, it's going to be in trouble. And the Volksgrenadiers all, you know, about hunting that pesky little Jeep. Jeep getting a few kills as the Volksgrenadiers try to hunt it down. And there we go, Jeep down, rifle in a good position there. Volksgrenadiers need to get away. Bit of a blow there to Siaga, who's down to 3 riflemen. No further units. Wait, there we go. A third Volksgrenadier team out for Swimmer Wang. Interesting to see, although again he does have the fuel pump, but now he can't actually get it because riflemen are there. Volksgrenadier team right there might want to consider retreating or doing something, at least, you know, providing some sandbags for the MG team, which might also want to pull up a bit closer to provide better protection for the Volksgrenadiers taking the victory point. Lots of ideas, and looks like some singular Volksgrenadiers being sent off against the riflemen. Careful about that, those chaps might not all make it back. Engineers moving in, taking heavy losses, more riflemen moving in. Again, MG42 can't quite protect the Volksgrenadiers while they're there, only sort of protect them from getting absolutely rushed, but there we go. Flanking attempt stopped, Volksgrenadiers going for the munitions point. Need more troops right there, and he's going for the cut-off point while the riflemen are just hanging about there. Apparently trying to go for the victory point. Whoops. Rifleman getting suppressed again by the MG42 again, though I would have preferred it a bit closer to the front. Now the Volksgrenadiers are being engaged by the riflemen over here in the west. Volksgrenadiers are going to need cover. Don't stand out in the open again. Moving closer to the riflemen, I'm not entirely sure that's a good idea. Usually want to sort of stay away from them at range and get the greatest advantage. Kriegberg's going up for Swimmer Wang, taking what he can there, although Volksgrenadiers again doing the job are pretty wounded. Would be better to get them back and reinforce, then take some points perhaps. Mining would also be nice to see from Swimmer Wang. But no such luck, except we are seeing a Kriegberg's going up. But again, get those forces back. I mean, there's a certain extent to what you can do with heavily wounded forces like that. In particular when Volksgrenadiers, in particular this early on, though he's wiring off, that's alright for now. And again, don't stand about with pioneers. I mean, again, mine, do something, you know, be a bit proactive. But he's gone for the point there. Americans a bit penned in, but Siaga JPS is clearly not giving up. Rushing in, these Volksgrenadiers need to get back to base as well. Rückzug, Männer, mach schon. I'm wiring off a bit there, and yes, you do have a bit of problems with edges, though the trick is here then sort of lay one that sort of follows the edge of the map, sort of a bit more perpendicular. I'm not entirely sure, but something like that. Where those chaps need to get back, and there we go. Kriegberg's up. Rifle squad on the way, so a fourth one for Siaga JPS. And there we go, retreating, having wired off pretty severely, except for this little gap there. Again, I would have liked to see some, you know, again, other way. But still, this MG should be able to cover most of that. Troops getting reinforced. But again, get moving. And of course, also try to sort of keep some here. So they get some quick out. And he's getting a half track, interestingly enough. Also, I believe, note that Mr. Siaga JPS has accidentally gotten the sticky bombs. He's getting more riflemen. He's getting 5 riflemen. Seems that's reasonably irregular. That's not what you usually see. But a half track on the way for Swimmer Wang. And don't send it on its way on its own. I mean, it's a half track. It's there to support infantry, support them, keep them fighting, give them MG, and of course allow them to reinforce. It's not there to move in. And Why on earth are you going for an observation post on a strategic point? You gain nothing from it, not even slightly more manpower points. I mean, you gain nothing from it. I mean, yes, you might say, well, it denies it to him, but again, do it then on the munitions, do it on the fuel, but not on this. That's a waste of manpower. A complete and utter tragic waste of manpower. And again, note there again, you do not rush in a half-track like that. Quickly disabled by sticky bombs, rifle shots tearing through them. Grenadiers moving in, full gunners with MP40s as well. Gunners down more or less. Careful now, careful. Target the ones closest. Remember, Grenadiers are pretty tough infantry. Don't move, stand still, man. Stand still, you absolute tosser. There we go, rifle being pushed away. Rather severe losses. Pop up the pioneers and repair the half-track. Come on, Siaga, I know you can do it. Line here being held so far, but you know, push, man. Do not stand about when you have that much infantry. 4 infantry teams, and also recommend at this stage that perhaps you consider getting a medic bunker to get the most out of that as well. In terms of attrition, Kampfkraft center up. Also a bit efforts here to perhaps, you know, secure some points. Perhaps also try to mine off this area. But again, push, sandbags. And Grenadiers not being pulled into the fight while the Volksguns are doing the majority of the fighting. Might be better to have left the Volksguns to take that while the Grenadiers here with the majority of the force. Rifle moving in. Engineers. These chaps are coming under quite a bit of fire. 1 man down. Half-track getting repaired. No veterancy on the way so far. Volksguns getting burned. Pull them away. There we go. Let's go have a look at Swimmer Wang. What is he up to? Nothing good, it seems like. Rifle pushed away. Engineers moving through the north. Might be an idea as soon as that half-track, of course, get it moving. There we go. Get it back, get moving. And we are seeing a pretty huge advance right there by Siaka JPS. And he's charging in. Low health Volksgunners. Don't do that! And he lost them because, again, he shouldn't have moved them forwards. Get the half-track to the front. Get some cover for these chaps. Don't move your Grenadiers into that many riflemen. Don't. Oh, come on, you absolute idiots. And there we go, Grenadiers absolutely wasted because, again, he apparently decided he wanted to rush up to all those riflemen. Can't he count? And now, of course, he's moving in the half-track afterwards. I mean, timing is of the essence with assaults. And don't send your pack so close to the front line without anything to support it. Are you daft? And now he's getting more packs, which I suppose is nice, but again, when you've seen this many riflemen, it might also be an idea to sort of get something more to deal with them. Sticky bomb damaging the engine. But again, he's just lost a lot of infantry. He's going to need something to replace it soon, preferably. Half-track's going to need repairs. But in this case, Yaga JPS just gained the advantage. He's just knocked out 2 infantry teams, which amongst others includes the Grenadiers and the MP40 equipped Volksgrenadiers. Lots of munitions though for Swimmer Wang. Again, he could have been used to mines. Should I repeat myself? Mines. He could have mined there, he could have mined there, mined there, mined there, mined there. Lots of mines, but nothing like that. And again, anti-tank gun completely exposed, completely unguarded, unchecked, unescorted, and running straight into rifle, which he probably should be known because, again, he should be aware that this point is being taken. I mean, for heaven's sake, Swimmer Wang. You had some good ideas, now you're completely buggering it up with poor handling of everything. Bunker going up here for Swimmer Wang. Something tells me that's going to be an MG bunker. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I mean, part of a larger defense and not sort of the defense. It can work, but at the same time, a part of me says, you know, get a medic bunker, but first and foremost, get some bloody infantry. Meanwhile, this pack is not in a good position, getting MG'd. Rather moving in, engineers with flamethrowers moving in. Will the bunker going up? Yes, indeed, just in time. Lots of MP40s ready. Pack hiding there. You have an MG in the base. Get it to the front. To the front. Dummkopf. MG holding the line here. And there we go. MG bunker on the way. Not entirely sure what's going on. I think that might be a pathing error. Pack though needs to get away out of the way. Pioneers also retreating. Bunker getting heavily damaged. Flamethrower engineers getting suppressed, but again, to the front, including that damn half-track. And those MP40 equipped Volks Grenadiers. Pack finally escaping. Flamethrower engineers could be going down for Siaga. There we go, MG bunker up. Sind klar. Widerstand Neste. Part of Festung Angeville, I suppose. Come on, finish off those engineers. And there we go. Looks like the MG bunker might just barely be saved, which can certainly provide a bit of a strong point for him. Something to hold on to. Pack though getting rushed. Again, not enough support for it. Greyhound now out for Siaga JPS. But again, don't float resources, Swimmer Wang. Infantry. Get some grenadiers, get them some Panzerschrecks. Or get some LMGs. Why are you sending in your LMG like that? Retreat, for heaven's sake. Are you utterly daft? I mean, come on. Control of your units. Do not send support units in before the infantry. Always have the infantry lead, then MG and such like that. That's a pretty good rule of thumb for the novices, I'd say. And get infantry like that out of there as well. I mean, really. M8, they're out of control because it's not been equipped with armored skirts, in which case Panzerfaust quickly will deal with it. Rather than moving forward under heavy machine gun fire, not a good idea. Sticky bomb on the half-track. Reinforce that again. Get some bloody infantry out. There we go. But again, that MG loss was absolutely unacceptable. Stuff that you get sent to the Eastern Front for. I mean, yes, if you're a pro, then sure you can get away with doing that. But again, until that, I would strongly suggest you basically keep your support units like MGs, packs, and all that behind infantry moving forwards. I mean, that's sort of tactics for you, gentlemen. To sort of ensure you don't make a bloody mistake again there. Now he's just rushing that in. And mate moving in, pack moving forwards. Bunker getting repaired. Stop that pack. Stop it from moving. Pack there could be getting cleared out. And again, another M8. Do not rush in unupgraded M8s. But too late in this case. Another M8 bites the dust. Pack could be sorted out. So I suggest these folks must get away as well. Infantry veterans on the way. I suppose that's a small relief. Flamethrower pioneers, but without veterancy, not entirely sure that's a good idea. Grenadiers with a Panzerschreck. This getting repaired. Salvage this from munitions. Siaga JPS now suffering some losses. Looks like it's lost one rifleman team, and this is in fact completely open. Getting some grenadiers out there, and that's going to be a pretty nice picnic. And again, holding the line, a nice little strong point, holding both victory points, of course, which will be forcing Siaga JPS to sort of attack, which certainly can give Swimmer Wang some advantage, since he's clearly not having the force to actually lead an attack, partly due to his own bloody mistakes. Tractor gets blown apart for being a filthy saboteur, and there we go again. Why he should have mined this or wired it off properly. Flank going in there. Although the half-track could be crude, so provide some MGs. Though I would suggest basically that MG turning around to deal with the flank. MG of course, Bunker of course he'll handle this. Pack on the western flank, need someone to deal with it. Perhaps some of that infantry in the base again. Don't float resources like that. Again, rule of thumb for training, basically just do something, either train something, build something, or upgrade something. I mean, basically just don't float resources. Rather than running into the MG bunker, another sticky bomb in the half-track. Might be an idea to get some veterans for that, actually. Or at least for the support unit, so the MG could be more accurate. And another retreat from Siaga. Folks guys moving into flank. And again, floating resources again. Get some infantry, I suggest. Get some infantry. Or perhaps get a 30 and perhaps an LMG for the Grenadiers to really add to the MG fire you seem to have sort of amassed. Pack getting flanked. Rifleman getting shot up. Half-track down. Was not moved. That was a mistake. And the pack gets killed. A little parting gift from the Americans. A little Garand 1. Garand on it. And there we go. And again, why the bugger did you do that? That serves absolutely no bloody purpose. I mean, it's not even really going to delay much, because again, take this point and then you can take all these again. It serves no flippin' purpose. No purpose at all. I repeat, no purpose. Repeat after me. No purpose. And again, don't float resources, please. And again, that's sort of also one of the greater novice mistakes, you know, besides cover and such and unit preservation, floating resources. I mean, sort of think of things like a larger sort of mathematical piece. You have the sort of manpower you have on the field, and you have what you have here sort of making for your total manpower. And you might sort of think, well, if you know I'm saving manpower, I might be having some sort of hidden advantage. No, you're not. Why? Because if it's your opponent has more manpower on the field, that means he has a greater direct advantage, which means he can take off your manpower on the field, thus meaning in the larger picture you will actually end up with less manpower than him. I mean, usually you want to sort of ensure you have as much manpower on the field, unless of course you're saving up for, say, a Tiger, King Tiger, or some tanks, but you don't just sort of float it for no purpose at all. I repeat, no purpose at all. In this case, no purpose at all. I'm pretty sure there's not really much for him to go for here. No upgrades or anything. He just needs to use it, get some infantry on the field, attack, put some pressure on the American commander, and salvage that armored car, for heaven's sake. Let's also deal with the mid-game analysis. I mean, currently, Wang is holding most of the victory points. In fact, he's holding all of them, draining Siaga JPS of victory points. Siaga JPS doing a bit badly again. Not good armored car tactics, trying to use it with tanks, but not without even upgrading them, which is a pretty bad idea. The reactor Trier Center, though, no medic station, and again, no medic bunker either for Wang, which I'd also recommend him getting. Both sides that have lost some pretty gruesome things, although Wang really right here did terribly. But he needs some boots on the ground, and he needs some armor. It's perhaps, you know, getting Sturm armory, getting some armored cars out, perhaps a Stug. Perhaps also consider just for the fun of it, getting some LMGs first gun and see how that works out. But, you know, increase firepower. And, you know, also get that salvage, lay down some mines for heaven's sake. I mean, you're great with wiring, that's great to see. Certainly means you've learned something, but again, mines also help quite a bit. I mean, you've been floating too much munitions again, so I would say to lay down an arse load of mines. Come on, man, all the cool kits do it. And for Siaga JPS again, medic station, get your act together, upgrade those, perhaps get some armor. Let's return to this fight. Volksgun is pushed away from there. Wire is in place, lovely. And now laying down some wire there in sort of an attempt to stop anything there. Pioneer saying about when they could have, you know, been salvaging there. Still no fresh units on the way. Will he be salvaging now? Apparently not, much to my distress. And again, there's still just that one sliver of a gap. He's still not really solving the issue. And now he's laying down some mines, so I suppose that's something. And I think he might be setting up a forward barracks, but that's not really going to help him again due to sort of the way my wire is laid. I mean, it's not really going to help him. Yes, he can train troops, but I don't think he's going to do that. Again, I just think he's going to be floating resources like a complete fool wishing to be deported to the Eastern Front. Let's return to the JPS, who does have some artillery which can be good in assaulting such a position. Armored cars ready. Pioneers went down. Oh dear. Barely missing the mine. Charging through all this. 2 packs need to turn about. Be careful though. Rifleman move through there. Forward barracks up. But again, he's going to be using for anything sensible. Pioneers holding out against Riflemen. M8's right in front of the packs. Move them both, man. Perhaps a grenade right in the mix of this. Panzerfaust. And there we go. M8 one down. MG though has been cleared out. Recruit, mate. Recruit. Artillery getting called in. Oh, it's an absolute mess. And again, he's lacking the infantry to really do something about it, because again, he's floating. He's floating.
Enemy unit down.
Absolutely irresponsibly floating resources. He's got troops here, but he's not even reinforcing them and sending them to the front. Wang, what the bloody hell are you doing? I mean, come on, for heaven's sake. Pack getting pulled out. Come on. Wang, you complete bastard. Now getting an MG from here, but will it be pulled to the front? Come on. Get some infantry. Forwards, save your MG bunker. But again, he could have been attacked and saved it, but he's not. He's just standing about. And that's basically his major issue. He's just too slow in some senses. He's got appalling tactics and bad reaction times. And again, he's just floating too much at all. That's really going to be what's going to be hindering for a larger part if he doesn't learn this out. Pack gets knocked out, but not before his own MG bunker gets knocked out. MG firing here rather than hanging about. And he's got grenades. Jolly good there for Zaga. JPS. MG gets cleared out. Although the full guns with MP40 is doing what they can as well. But again, get some troops to the front. Get to killing. And of course you have another tier, so perhaps also an MG. But again, full Scaniers. Get them moving. You train them, so get them moving. Set up a waypoint or something. Just don't have them hanging about. An MG in a bad position. Knocked out again. If I didn't know better, I'd say you were intent on losing Swimmer Wang. And that's treason in the army. MG getting secured. Lots of full guns with MP40s getting suppressed. And an MP40 team getting lost again. Poor tactics again. Due to poor reaction times and due to poor mobility because he's wired himself in. I mean, I'm not entirely sure if he had any sort of greater plan with this. And I mean, this is pretty much it. I know it's sort of a short, but I mean, he's just pissed away all chances. He's going to basically now be spamming Austrians and losing them by the spades. Yes, I know it's a bit short. Of course, I'll be sort of trying to add something else, perhaps another Monday novice bit, but you know, hadn't quite intended that, but something like that. You know, you happen doing the way and you sort of realise, well, this isn't working. We saw some interesting things. I mean, what did we see? What did it work? I mean, we saw some interesting use of barbed wire, something I've not seen in some time. Good use of enemy resources, bunkers, all that, but we also saw some pretty huge flaws from both sides. Unit preservation, sending in armor cars without, you know, upgrading them. Severe lack of mines. Absolutely devastating. No medic bunkers, no medic stations. Not salvaging resources. And again, floating resources. Really one of the abominable ones. Floating resources, for heaven's sake. Don't catch me. Let me catch you doing it. There we go. So, I mean, that was really terrible. I mean, again, some sense, again, that's also what the Monday Novice Fight is about, you know. Sort of trying to figure out what's wrong and why is it wrong. I mean, really, that's sort of why I hopefully explain that to you in some extent. Now, let's see if we can't find another game to perhaps, you know, finish this off with. And welcome to this, what has suddenly become an operation cast, which basically means two sort of replays put together, although I also have to sort of keep this going again, time constraints and all that. But a 1 versus 1 on Sturzdorf, who shall be fighting when in the northern corner we are going to be seeing Demonic Knight. Yes, indeed, Demonic Knight fighting for the Americans. Continuing the fight of the 1st Infantry divisions towards Cherbourg. Holding the line, all of a sudden, JPS is now leading the Wehrmacht forces again, the 77th Infanterie Division throwing itself into the fight. Hiccups, great. Hopefully a bit better this time around. And again, some different things to notice. And rarely I suppose I do it like this, but you know, things happen, and a good commander can always adapt, always look at new things, and of course always try new things. That also applies to cars, and of course, you know, sometimes you just sort of have to sort of realize halfway, okay, this isn't working, change tactics. In this case, go for an operation cast and try something bigger. In this case, a Monday Novice operation cast. Yes, indeed. We are seeing a 3 Pioneer start off him, and again, remember, rank level 9. His opponent, though, level 3 with a lot of custom match experience, though. Although that's not saying much, but I mean, he's probably not going to be a complete tosser, but the clever of you might have already noticed. He's not he's going straight for the sort of vital resources as opposed, but there's absolutely no way of connecting them. Absolutely no bloody way. On the other hand, Saga JPS, of course, taking the points nearby, and this is actually going to get slightly more interesting, I believe. If not, my apologies. Just sort of wanted more to sort of finish this off with. But a Schwimmer can start here. Riflemen joining up. Where will they be going? Will they actually be trying to sort of connect something? And already here we're seeing something a bit odd. He's going up for a bunker within the first minutes of the game. I'd argue this is a slightly bad idea. I mean, yes, you can get some grenadiers pretty early on, of course, and it's probably not going to be easily hurt, but still, you might actually want to get some infantry to sort of hold your initial territories, and again, going for the mission point there, but again, nothing to really connect it with. Connection, for heaven's sake, man. I mean, he's just basically sort of tagging along and sort of figuring, well, I'll just connect it afterwards, in which case, of course, his opponent will be taking all the low resources opponent, but still, having them connected will have more resources than you do, mate. You know, I mean, in that sense, again, Novice Monday matches, of course, are educational, sort of trying to point out flaws and what the ideas might be behind them. Of course, I'm not a mind reader, so sort of just have to guess what people are thinking. Again, in this case, it's sort of, you know, I'll connect it later. At least I'll have all the pretty resources, the one with the highest numbers. And of course, yes, that's great, but you also need to have them connected, mate.
Pioneer team ready.
And this sense, of course, with the medic bunker alone, he's probably thinking, well, I'll get a medic bunker as soon as possible, and then I'll catch him with his pants down. And in that sense, sure, cool enough, but you're better off actually having some infantry in the first place. I mean, in this sense, they're both sort of crippling themselves, although the Wehrmacht for harassment is a nice idea. And the engineers certainly cannot quite protect themselves from it. So in that sense, it's pretty nice, pretty good. Certainly not a bad idea. Pioneers rushing in. Another, no, that's this first MG on the way. Might also want to get some false grenadiers. There we go. Again, floating resources. Bad. Very bad. Verboten, in fact. And note, just as soon as he's finally connected this, of course, the Wehrmacht moves in and takes it. So he's not really going to be getting much out of it. And now we're seeing something odd here. He's rushing right into this building, which is not something you usually see. It's not... I mean, in some senses, it apparently has some nice windows, but, you know, in other senses... I mean, right here, notice most of these windows are actually blocked. So it's not like it's going to be doing a huge lot, I suppose. Under heavy fire. Looks a bit odd, though. And this is, I think it's going to be a bit of a weird match for the beginning. False guys moving closer, though, right up into the face of the rifleman who are inside a building. I think that's less great. Could actually work to the advantage of the American rifle, of course, since this thing does provide them some nice protection bonuses. And there we go. False gun is awfully close, where the Americans really have the advantage. Now they're taking some losses. Bad idea. I mean, it would have been better idea to actually move up here and sort of far into this side, where there's only one rifleman able to respond and such. So that was a bit of a blunder right there by Sayaga JPS. I mean, again, sort of remember, you know, engaging buildings. You can also, of course, end up giving your opponent the advantage by engaging him in bad positions. Further fighting here. Pioneers getting ganged up on by engineers and riflemen, being pushed away. At the same time, some riflemen going for the fuel point. At least good harassment right there. That's what we like to see. But otherwise, a bit of a mess. And again, he's rushing right after it. And again, getting shot. No point in doing that. You're better off rushing up some flamethrowers. And now he's floating resources as well. Sayaga, you dolt. MG getting flanked and forced away. Rifleman apparently forgotten there. Again, a key, you know, sort of pull up the tactical map, hold down shift, and to queue up actions. Then sort of, you know, just click through the points you want to sort of get taken. And there we go. Medic bunker is up for Sayaga JPS, the 77th. In this case, having learned from some of its failures, I suppose. More false gunners. In fact, a lot of false gunners. He's getting 3 false gunner teams, which is only going to provide him quite a bit of fighting power, so that's not bad, I suppose. Pioneers rushing in as well. These 5 from there could have joined in, but again, they're just hiding there, being a nuisance. Cherbourg dealing with the engineers. Engineers need to get out of there. Well, engineer from plural to singular, since most of his comrades have been killed off. And these 5 might also want to consider getting the devil out of there. But the Americans do manage to actually hold most of the map. This proving to be quite an issue for little Sayaga. And these riflemen need to get out of there, out of the Pitlevsky building, and retreat. Looks like they actually managed it, having run in here and exit there. Jolly good little thing. And some pioneers get lost. And now these riflemen are a bit more problems. They need to get out of there as quickly as bloody possible. And also might be a need to sort of try and mine here and here. We're already seeing some mines, or at least in that sense Demonic Knight is showing more sense than that other guy whom I can't remember, except he's had something with Wang in his name. And we are seeing sandbags going up. No good aggressive use of it, sort of gave you an advantage against the Americans. Cherbourg finding a way, needs some repairs though, and these riflemen there are still there. I mean, if he had some artillery, that could be a great way to sort of call in some on the opponent's base, but otherwise there's not much to get at. If you want to be really sneaky, you should sort of actually try to sort of move through here. That's a bit of a gap here, and then sort of sneak in and do some damage there. Kampfkraft send up for Zayaga. That's actually a bit of a bad move, since he's seen no grenades or BARs on his opponent. I mean, he's probably on the way towards the armed motor pool, so in that sense, clearly Demonic Knight is not completely dropped behind a car, left behind in the darkness and all that. He's clearly got an idea of what he wants to do, though it's a bit muddled at times. And Volkswagen is basically just standing there. Get out of there, you pesky Americans! We'll shoot at you! And the Americans just taunting them, saying silly things. Riflemen though, getting hit from all sides. Retreat, Demonic Knight, retreat! Get your men out of there! You're not going to get the Medal of Honor for losing men purposelessly. And that was quite a waste of manpower. And I think he's got quite a few riflemen. I think he might have gotten 5 teams as well. Or at least had them. That many, that's quite something. Or no, he's had 6 teams of infantry. My goodness. Quite excessive. Quite fortunate, and so far Zayaga JPS is a bit slow in getting a reaction up. He's in fact been penned up due to all the sort of attacks going on, all the harassment. Volkswagen is getting shot at as they're retreating. And again, these riflemen are actually doing quite a bit of work again. They're actually forcing Zayaga JPS to keep one unit here because he can't really move past them, he feels like. Again, getting a flamethrower would have sorted that out a lot earlier. Medics pulling in the wounded. I suppose they're not having much luck though. MG needs to get to the front. Schwimmwagen moving in. Driving getting suppressed. Jolly good job. Shot down. Losses. Forced away. Rifleman going down right in there. And good mining over there indeed. Jolly good, jolly good. Slightly better fight though. Again, it's probably going to be a bit short. Again, timing issues. Timing. Now these riflemen have just forgotten, which is less good. I mean, had he gotten some engineers with demo charges, he could have made a pretty sneaky move again. Sneak up here, right past the edge here, and then move straight into the American base, or Wehrmacht base, and do some nasty things. Veterans 2 for the infantry, but again, no Kriegbags. And on the other hand, we're seeing a motor pool out already. That's a pretty bad thing. But Grenadiers are ready. He's probably, hopefully, going to be getting some panic for them bloody soon. I hope so. Let's have a look at Demonic Knight, who's certainly not floating resources. He's having none of that. He's got, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riflemen. And he's gotten T-17s. The T-17 weren't really used by the Americans. Just in a sort of experimental state. And once really used them were the British, in fact. Riflemen getting hunted down on all sides. T-17 moving in. Has a higher rate of fire than the Greyhound, I believe. But it's also a lot less accurate. Does manage to kill that. It does also have more health actually initially. Doesn't require the upgrade. Pioneer team down. Riflemen though need to get out of there. Get away. Panzerfaust on the T-17. Grenadiers holding up heroically. Oh dear, rifleman team went down again. Unit preservation, my friend.
Germans are seizing territory from us.
And the Podlevsky building has become the Panzerschreck building apparently. More force guys moving up, perhaps to do a bit more damage. Engineers moving up. Might be an idea to get that T-17 away. More rifle moving up. MG in the nearby position. Lamp post getting knocked down.
Losing ground out there.
No doctrinal choice as of yet. and a mine surprise for these Volksgrenadiers. That was less grand.
Krauts have cut forward supply lines.
So fighting here and there and everywhere.
Awaiting your orders, sir.
And all of a sudden again, Demonic Knight, now having gone for a pretty heavy infantry part, is suddenly losing it because again, not grand unit preservation. Krieg barracks sort of up. Apparently someone decided to head off for a lunch break rather than finish it. And again, this is a pretty terrible position to be in. You can't actually do anything. Now getting airborne. I think he might have been better off getting a strafing run and then trying to do some damage here, but apparently he's decided otherwise in his infinite wisdom. Medic station there. That's just too bloody close to the front line. Much too exposed as well. I mean, again, sort of remember, you know, medic station and medic bunker placement. This is bad. This, on the other hand, a bit sort of more secluded, though. I mean, a better position would have been here, or perhaps even here, you know, close to the front, but at the same time, it should not be right out in the middle of everything where your opponent can easily get to it. And that's not quite what Demonic Knight seems to have gone into his head. I mean, a better position, that would have been here, or here. Possibly a bit there, but, you know, not right in front of it. That's sort of like placing it in the middle of the road, which we have seen some players do. Veterancy 1 for these rifle Volksgunners getting pushed away. Lots of novice action going on. That's for sure. Volksgunners fighting about here. VAR's on the way for the rifle. Volksgunners heavily wounded, running into the barrel factory. Hoping that some of those barrels might be filled with schnapps or brandy. German medics rushing in. Lots of other German troops hanging out there. And there we go. BAR's ready. This could prove to a bit of a problem for those Volksgrenadiers, who will definitely need to get out of there. And also getting grenades. Demonic Knight, you're being aggressive. Fancy that. Which is certainly also one of the larger issues with some novices. And oh dear, some pretty heavy losses. That T-17 doing some nasty damage there. Volksgrenadiers not retreating. Oh dear. You're disappointing me right there, Siaga. T-17 though on the prowl. I mean, a nice tick if you want to how to deal with a medic bunker quickly. Rush up some engineers with a demo charge, knock it out. In this case, it's actually undefended. I don't think he has demo charges. Bit of a shame, really. Grenades on the way. That's going to suddenly boost the firepower of his riflemen. He could also be calling in some airborne, and then he down a satchel charge on that bunker as well. That's also another possibility. He certainly has the munitions for it.
Supply lines are broken. We have territory out.
Volksgunners getting shot up, and again getting into these buildings again. On this sense, it certainly can do some damage this side. Absolutely bollocks. And oh dear, T-17 rushing in right in front of a pack. A Panzerabwehrkanone, if I can find it. Oh, right there. Camouflage doing it pretty well. More riflemen moving up. German medics moving about with the wounded. Schwimmwagen goes down, it bites the dust. And now a larger assault moving in. Lots of German infantry, the MG as well. No veterancy for that though. Would increase accuracy and reload times. Well, decrease them actually, but sort of make it more effective in that sense. And these riflemen really need to get out of there. They're outnumbered. Airborne popping in. Oh dear, grenades on the rifleman. Interesting enough, he's not been using any grenades himself. That would have done him quite well. Veterancy though for these riflemen. I don't think he's got any supplied upgrades either. But he does have a new medic station up. That's something, I suppose. But these riflemen need to get out of there. Run, man, run. And people are just getting gunned down everywhere. Automatic fire everywhere. Medics everywhere. Trying to desperately save as many as possible from the folly of their two commanders. And the airborne. Fire up. Charging in. With a grenade. Not in front of the MG though, for heaven's sake. No, why did you go for a satchel charge? You have grenades, man. They would have gone off faster. You should have used the satchel charge against the medic bunker. Demonic Knight, there's nothing demonic about you, just slightly moronic. Yes, I know that was harsh, but still, the things I'm forced to endure can be a bit harsh at times. And this building needs to be evacuated. That's in a pretty bad position. Packs hammering away at it, remember. And there we go. If a building collapses, any units in it will die as well. Fun fact there. And a strafing run. Nicely executed. Nicely executed. Slaughtering quite a few Wehrmacht troops. Thankfully using a grenade. Grenadiers getting torn apart by Infantry 2 riflemen.
Our front lines are collapsing.
But come on, push, man. Push, and don't lose so many units, please. Meanwhile, let's speed this up a bit. Pioneer's getting rushed off, and basically just doing his best to not harass his opponent. And that's actually quite a nice little thing. Note, he's actually laid down a little belt, ensuring that Demonic Knight is cut off from most of the map. Cheeky little sword, but it's doing a pretty damn good job. Half-track moving up, and some engineers caught in their own. No AT guns, no anything. No airborne, I think, with recoilless rifles, although they are on the way. Though they should be careful. Getting suppressed, lots of units moving in. This will be an excellent time to retreat. Pioneers up here getting not dealt with by the riflemen. And medic station quite exposed. Airborne retreating, about damn time.
Losing ground out there. Enemy unit down.
And the Pioneers got sorted out. Come on, though. No engineers, though he's got more on the way. He needs more infantry. I don't think he should have gone for a reconnaissance run at this stage. Just wait to get some strafing run out. Number 2, some grenades. A recon run. And there we go, rifle pushed away. This is looking pretty grim. I suppose he's desperately trying to defend his second medic station.
Sector being captured.
Airborne needing reinforcements. Sticky bombs on the way. Though again, might have been better to use that manpower for the airborne and get them to the front and knock out that half track. Oh, so many things. And another rifleman team gets ready. That's something, I suppose. Volksgun's getting hunted down.
Composition B is in. Troops can now make sticky bombs.
And again, he's just rushing them into a building where they can't fully fight and they're basically surrounded. I don't think that's going to end well. In particular, if he just actually moves his units here and there. And what's this? A satchel charge? Why did he throw it there? Oh, for heaven's sake, Demonic Knight. Are you even trying?
Munition sector.
But half-track could be going down because it's not getting pulled out. And these riflemen need to evacuate the building. They're barely alive. Oddly enough, no one's been attempting to salvage these BARs. That's a bit of a miss. But again, retreat, man, retreat. And simply too late. Another satchel. Why is he using satchel charges? Does note they're getting out of there in excellent time. Use grenades. Satchel charges are not grenades. Note the timer. It's much too long unless your opponent is a snail or a turtle. But doesn't have fingers. When you sort of a pendulum, then can quickly press T. But I mean, this is pretty turning ugly for the American. On the other hand, Saga JPS, due to good placement and absolutely no attention to really dealing with it from his opponent, is getting a lot of infantry. He's basically getting the upper hand because, again, he's actually keeping his men alive. And he's not throwing satchel charges willy-nilly. Or more, to be more specific, satchel charges is everything that looks even slightly German, but at the same time it's also the sort of German that can actually move. Satchel charges are more for obstacles, fortifications, immobilized vehicles, not for troops.
Losing a sector.
Just a little rule of thumb there. I mean, this, great target for a satchel charge. This, not a great target for a satchel charge. Rule of thumb there, rifle team down, and this is, again, largely the end area for this fellow. Now we are seeing the Panzer Command on the way. Sherman, though, moves in. Airborne, I don't think will be moving out. Mortar round. Oi, you! Don't shoot at your own men! With dual packs of... Yeah, you're not going to be shooting through that. Sorry, but you're not. I'm sincerely sorry, but you're not going to be shooting through that. MG hiding here, getting hammered by the Sherman. Again, get those packs to the front and establish a pack front. Grenades going in, doing quite a nasty job to those MG gunners. Why aren't you moving those anti-tank guns? Sherman getting hit a bit. Engineers down. Someone died. Veterans is 3 for the Grenadiers. Hacks are slightly inching forwards. And some Grenadiers getting gunned down horrifically. Grenades exchanged. Sherman moving in as well. And an LMG. Interesting. And again, moving in for the cutoff points. Let's just read this up a bit again.
We're losing territory.
More packs.
Pioneers now have access to heavy flak weaponry.
Flak's being chosen, of course. We've seen defensive from him, airborne for him. And he's caught a bit on their own.
The enemy advances.
Will they get out of there in time? And also going for the fuel point there. A bit of a lackluster reaction to this Sherman. And again, why did he go for the Panzer Command research if he's not going to build it? But let us, quite frankly, again, for the matter of time, say this is it. I mean, his opponent's not going to come back. He's pretty much lost it. And I mean, you just gotten 2 different replays. I suppose that will keep you happy as well a bit. But there you go. I mean, what's the lesson from here again? I mean, this was just a complete utter mess. No real attempt at the front. And again, poor unit preservation from Demonic Knight and poor medic station placement. I mean, he's lost 2 already. He's gone for a 3rd one, and he's going for a 4th one. I mean, keep them a bit close in that sense. But also, you know, don't throw your infantry away like that. Satchel charges are not grenades. Grenades are grenades. And medic bunkers are great targets for satchel charges. Infantry are not. Also, more mining would have been great. More wire, more everything. I mean, that was also basically lacking from Sayaka. No mines, no barbed wire, no sandbags. Tragic. But at least he was doing better. And certainly, I mean, also don't place your medic bunker this early on. And don't go so quickly towards Veterans. It was a sheer luck he didn't get knocked out by an armoured car, or at least heavily damaged. So there you go. Do hope you enjoyed this game on this overall operation. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? If you didn't, well, if you did, why not subscribe? And if you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own? My apologies, I seem to, all these novice things do seem to be confusing me a bit, but there you go. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers.